All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last bonus episode I have for you before we start season 5 next week. But unlike the other bonus episodes you've gotten over the last few weeks, this isn't something I recorded for another podcast, and it's not cobbled together from bits and pieces of other episodes. Nope, this sucker is being recorded from scratch just for you so I can talk about and share with you the plans I have for season 5. I'll be bringing in some new stuff, but also continuing with a bit of the old as well. I only ask that you take everything I'm going to say with a grain of salt, because I suffer from a condition that I like to call ain't never going to do everything I want itis. Meaning, it don't matter what I want to do or the plans I make. Life always manages to throw something shiny into my field of view, and before I know it, I'm off making other plans. But we can only do what we can do, right? So just sit back, relax, kick your shoes off, or not. I mean, you might be driving. In that case, keep your eyes on the road as we kick this episode off with our new theme song. Hello and welcome to another episode of Just Another Fanboy. I'm your host. Most folks call me Steven, but you can call me Steven. I don't know what else you might call me. The Dude, maybe? No, that's been taken. Sorry. Anyway, I hope you like the new theme song. It was another song that was written and performed and produced and recorded and put together just for me by an old friend by the name of Derek Nybarger. We used to play in a couple of bands together back in a previous life. He's the one that put together the song I had been using, but he put that together for me to use for the Steven or Else podcast. And I still want to try to squeeze in an episode of Steven or Else every once in a while. And I don't want both shows using the same song. So I asked him to put something together new for me, for Just Another Fanboy, and he did just that. But that's not all that's changed. If you've noticed when you pulled up this episode, there's some new cover art. It's green. It's got a new image of me that was created by Harold Jennett, who created the other image. Again, I was using the artwork that he had put together for Event or Else when I had first done Event or Else. If you listened to last week's episode, you know that the video show I'm doing now called Event or Else used to be an audio-only podcast that I did a couple of years back that I never completed. And so I started it all over, and it is primarily a video show. But once I stopped doing it a couple of years ago, I just took that artwork and I made it into the Just Another Fanboy cover art. And I don't want, again, just like the song, I don't want the artwork being shared between two different podcasts. So I asked Harold to put together something new for me, and he did, and there it is, and it's beautiful, and I love it. But that's not all. That is not those two things, those two little things, the song and the cover art, which aren't little things, they're big things. Those are not the only changes we're going to be making in season 5 with Just Another Fanboy. Currently, Just Another Fanboy has been twice a week. While I was off on my break between seasons 4 and season 5, which we're still currently in that break, I'd been releasing bonus episodes once a week. Once Just Another Fanboy Season 5 kicks in next week, well, the first 2 episodes are going to be once a week, but we're going to start going twice a week until Loki is done. Once Loki on Disney Plus is done, I am going to stop releasing Thursday episodes, and we're going to just go to once a week every Tuesday. Honestly, doing Just Another Fanboy, an Event or Else, and my other podcast over on the Patreon, and hopefully trying to squeeze in a Steven or Else every now and again, it's just gotten to be too much. And so I have to cut back somewhere, and we're doing that here with Just Another Fanboy, going from 2 episodes a week to 1 episode a week. Now, with season 5, beyond that, there are some new series episodes that I would like to start up, that I have planned, that I have listed on my schedule. The first one I am calling the Conan Chronicles. See, a number of years back, I bought this book for my Kindle for only 99 cents, and it had all of the Robert E. Howard Conan stories on it. Most of what I've read when it comes to Conan have been the comic books. And I have a lot of the comic books. And a lot of those comics, especially the ones done through Dark Horse, adapted many of those Robert E. Howard stories that are in this ebook. And I thought it would be fun to read one of the stories that Robert E. Howard wrote and then read the comic book adaptation and then do an episode about it. Talk about the story, talk about what differences you might find between the prose version and the comic book version, and then talk about which one I actually enjoyed more. And that's called the Conan Chronicles. And the first episode is going to be about the Frost Giant's daughter. I've also recently started listening to Stephen King's Dark Tower on audiobook. Now, I had read through or listened to on audiobook this series before, way back when, and it's been a while and I've been wanting to revisit it. And so I just recently listened to the first book, The Gunslinger, and I thought it would be fun to do an episode each time I finish one of the books. So you're going to be getting Stephen King's Dark Tower series of episodes. And then, again, grain of salt here, folks, I discovered that all of the episodes of Robotech are on the Roku channel, and I've been wanting to go back and watch those anyway. So I looked at how many episodes are in each season. There are 3 seasons. And so I've split them up to, for example, I'm going to do a series of episodes. Episode number 1 will be about, or at least the first part of this Robotech series of episodes I'm going to do will cover the first 6 episodes of the first season. And then the second episode in the series that I do will cover the next 6 episodes, and so on and so forth and all that. And I thought that would give me a good excuse to get in there and start watching Robotech again, which was a show that I just was absolutely in love with when I was a kid. I had never in my life until that point run into a show, especially a cartoon, that was not just done in one episodes, that it was an epic storyline that crossed all the episodes. It was one big story in each season that you had to watch all the episodes to get. And it wasn't until just within the last 15, 20 years that I learned, of course, that show is actually made up of at least 3 different Japanese animes. Season 2 and season 3 are just 2 completely different shows than what season 1 is. And they just bought the rights, the distribution rights to these 3 Japanese animated television shows, and they re-scripted everything so that they somewhat fit together. And I find that amazing, and I'm looking forward to going back and watching those again and then talking about them for y'all. If y'all have the Roku channel, then I invite you to come along with me on this journey. That's a callback to last week's episode. I would also like to try and using Skype or Zoom or Zencaster. I haven't quite decided on the service I want to use yet, but I'd like to try to bring in a guest at least once a month. I really enjoyed their, before season 4 started, doing the live streams with the various guests that I had. Brad Milo from Half Hour Wasted, Frank Rincon from Half Hour Wasted, Kyle Stevens from Kirby Crackle, Michael Kill, Peter Rios, Harold Jennett, who did my artwork, Sean Pryor. I had a lot of fun talking to all of them, and I want to talk to them again, and I want to talk to others. I still need to do an episode with Bill from Half Hour Wasted, and I have other folks that I want to talk to as well. So that's something I'm going to try to do at least once a month. We'll see. Will it happen? I don't know. I hope so. That's the plan. Again, shiny things may distract me. And honestly, I've already put out 2 episodes about one of my all-time favorite TV shows, Supernatural, but I'd really rather sit down with somebody else and talk about them. And so there's some folks I'm kind of putting some feelers out to see if somebody wants to. I got a couple of names in mind. I'm talking to folks. And maybe in the next couple of months, I'll start doing an episode once a month in which me and somebody else get together and talk about a group of episodes from Supernatural. I think that would be a lot of fun. I'd also like to do the occasional full video episode exclusive to the YouTube channel once in a while, something like what I'm doing over at Event or Else, but about other comics. Of course, I've been wanting to do that for a few months now, and I am nowhere near starting something like that, but know that it's on my radar. Once I start backing off Just Another Fanboy to once a month, oh good Lord, once a week, maybe I'll be able to put a little bit more time into stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking at doing for season 5. Now, some of the older series episodes will come back, of course, ElfQuest, G.I. Joe, Madman, John Byrne's Superman. I'm not sure how I'm going to do all this and only be once a week and still throw in the occasional show about something new I'm reading or a movie I watched, or doing those episodes I like to do where I just sit in front of the mic without a plan at all and I just babble anything, everything just comes off the top of my head. I still like to do those every once in a while. It just means that episodes of, for example, these series episodes just may be spaced apart much more. Instead of getting an ElfQuest episode once a month, you may get an ElfQuest episode once every couple months. That's just what we're going to do. Maybe I'll find later on down the road that I'll have time. I can get some time back to start doing 2 episodes a week again. But this is what I need to do for me so that I don't burn out and just stop podcasting altogether. And that's I don't think that's what any of us want to happen. Of course, we got episode 200 coming up. That is scheduled for July 27th. I haven't quite decided yet what I'm going to do for episode 200 yet. I figure I will give myself until June 27th. There's an episode that comes out on June 29th, the Conan Chronicles Part 1. That's what I have scheduled for June 29th. I don't know if that episode will actually release on June 29th, but that's the point that I want to start talking about what I want to do for episode 200. Whether I'm just going to ask folks to send me, if you want to send me an email or record something, or if I just want to get together with a bunch of folks over a span of a couple of weeks and just get with folks through Zoom or Skype or some program like that and do like what Peter Rios did for his episode 500, where he just talked to a bunch of people and he put together this big mammoth episode. I haven't quite decided what I want to do for episode 200 just yet. I don't know. It's like I want to do something epic. But can I do something epic? That's really the question that I need to ask myself. And that's what I'm going to be thinking about over the next few weeks. And that's it, folks. That's what we have to look forward to in season 5. Hopefully I'll be able to do everything that I want. And hopefully you guys are going to like it. I'm really hopeful. I'm really looking forward to season 5. I'm really excited that we have the new theme song, the new artwork. I'm able to, quote unquote, I guess, brand the various episode or the various podcasts now. Just Another Fanboy is green, Event or Else is red, and Steven or Else is orange. So I have different artwork for each podcast, and I don't know why that excites me. It just does. It makes me happy. Deep down in my heart. It makes me happy. It makes me content. It helps me sleep at night. How do you sleep? Do you sleep okay? Sleep is very important. I don't know why I'm getting into talking about sleep, but it is an important thing. But hey, before I let you go here, because that's really it. That's all I wanted to talk about. That's what I got going for season 5. I mean, I think about all the stuff that's coming out in the next few months. We've got Black Widow coming up. We've got Shang-Chi coming up. We've got the Eternals coming up. We've got Superman and Lois playing over on the CW, which I need to check out. We've got Sweet Tooth coming up, and tomorrow, by the time this episode comes out, Sweet Tooth is going to be on Netflix tomorrow. I am so looking forward to that. I think that is going to be a great show, and I hope they do more than just the one season. It's like, how am I going to have the time to talk about all this stuff? But I guess that's what my other podcast is for, and we'll talk about that in a second. But that leads me into the last bit of stuff here that I want to talk about. And I'm going to give you a lot of website addresses here during this next bit, but you know what? Don't worry about writing them down, especially if you're driving. All the links that I'm going to be talking about will be in the show notes. I'm trying to make it easy on y'all. First up, I am close to wrapping up season 1 of Event or Else, where I've been looking at Marvel Superhero Secret Wars from 84 and 85. I've been doing those one issue at a time, one episode at a time. Episode 10 went up just this past Monday. Episode 11 goes up next Monday. Then the final episode of the season, episode 12, goes up on Monday, June 14th. I encourage everyone, if you haven't checked it out, get over there and check it out. Now's a good time to do it. After season 1 wraps up, I'm going to be taking a short break before I come back with season 2, where I'll be talking about Crisis on Infinite Earths from DC. That's from 86. And again, one issue at a time, one episode at a time. Season 2 will also be 12 episodes long because Crisis on Infinite Earths was 12 issues long. Keep in mind, Event or Else is first and foremost a video show, and you can subscribe now over at youtube.eventorelse.com. Or if you do prefer your shows to be audio only, I do have an audio only podcast version available. You can get that wherever you get podcasts, or just go to get.eventorelse.com, and on that page, you'll find most of the places that carry the podcast. Event or Else, I'm having a lot of fun with. I really hope I can build up a viewership / listenership, because it does take a lot of time. It takes a lot of my time to put that thing together. And I really want it to be worth it. But I am having fun with it. And I feel like I'm getting better each and every episode. I'm becoming more comfortable with the format and putting the videos together. I'm just having a lot more fun, and I feel like I get just a tiny bit more creative with the videos in each episode as I progress. I'd also ask you to check out my Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you can join the Just Another Fan Club. And each week you're going to get my other podcast, which is an exclusive podcast only to the patrons, though you have gotten them here and there in the Just Another Fanboy feed. My other podcast goes up every Wednesday, and I do use that show to talk about all the comics and TV shows and movies and books, all that stuff that I'm consuming that I don't have time to talk about on any of the other podcasts I do. So when I was mentioning earlier, how am I going to find the time to talk about stuff like Sweet Tooth or Lois and Superman or whatever that show's called, or any of these shows that pop up on some of this stuff? How am I going to talk about all of that on Just Another Fanboy? Well, I'm not. So some of it I'm going to talk about on my other podcast. And keep in mind, when you join the Patreon, again, for as little as $1 a month, you're not just getting new episodes of my other podcast. You're going to have access to the entire back catalog of episodes, 195 of them so far. That's a lot of stuff to listen to, and they're all there for you to listen to if you're, like really bored, or you have a long freaking road trip ahead of you. Those episodes are just sitting there waiting for you. You can do that now at patreon.com/Stephen R. Orr. And hey, here's the thing. If you want to support the show, but you don't like the idea of a monthly fee or a monthly subscription, you can buy me a coffee at coffee.com. That's ko-fi.com/Stephen R. Orr. But you know what? Like I said earlier, all of these links will be in the show notes, ladies and gentlemen. I've tried to make it as easy as possible for you. And if you don't want to throw any monetary support my way, but you still want to show some sort of support, I get it. We're not made of money. I'm a low rent fanboy. I can't go out there and join every freaking Patreon to every podcast or comic creator or writer or whatever. I'd love to. I'd love to be able to do that. I'd love to be able to have enough money to just help support all these people, but I don't. So I get that. I get it. If anybody can understand that, it's me. So if you want to support me, if you want to support the show, but you can't do it monetarily, or you just don't want to do it monetarily, then just tell people about it. If you're on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, retweet all the tweets that I tweet about the show. Tell folks on Instagram, tell folks on Facebook, tell folks on Twitter, tell folks if you're on a Discord and you're talking to people about podcasts, tell them about Just Another Fanboy. There's a lot of people out there on Facebook and Twitter and places like that that are like, hey, I need some ideas for a podcast. Tell them about Just Another Fanboy. Tell them about Event or Else. Tell them about Stephen or Else. Just tell them. Spread the word. Thunderbird. Remember, I used to say that all the time. I think back in the old Stephen Earls podcast, spread the word, Thunderbird. Spread it far and wide. Tell your friend, tell your friend's friend, tell your friend's brother, tell your mom, tell your plumber, tell your dog groomer, tell everybody. Just get out there and let people know about Just Another Fanboy. Hey, here's a podcast I listen to and I really enjoy it, and this is why I like it. You should give it a listen. Here's a link to the show. You know, that is such a huge help. That helps me way more than subscribing to my Patreon or buying me a coffee at coffee.com. Spread that word, you little Thunderbird. All right, one last thing before I let you go. I'd appreciate it if you listen to the show through Apple Podcasts. Go on in there and rate the show. You don't have to type out a review unless, of course, you want to. Just rate the show. That's a huge help. The more ratings that Apple Podcasts get for my show, the higher up, I guess, in some kind of weird algorithm I get. Apparently, you have to have a certain number of minimum ratings before they even try to put you on any lists or any of that crap. And I don't think I'm quite there, folks. So if you listen through Apple Podcasts, just take a moment, go on in there, tap it, rate that show, give it a little tip, tappity tip. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the official end of season 4. This episode, bonus as it is, officially ends season 4 of Just Another Fanboy. Season 5 begins next week, Thursday, June 10th, where I'm going to be talking about the first episode of Loki from Disney+. Until then, I'm Steven, and I'm Just Another Fanboy. Happy Pride Month, folks. Be nice to each other.
There's your snort.
That may go at the end of the episode.
It better.